Evil Dead is a film about 5 college students that go up to this small cabin in the mountains of Tennessee. And there they find an ancient book and a tape recording of a man, both left there by this man, a professor, who had gone to this cabin to study these artifacts on this dig that he had been on in what would have been ancient Samaria. And the tape recording that they find is a journal on exactly what this book is. And in fact, it's the Book of the Dead, a book of do's and don'ts dealing with the deceased. It's got burial passages of the Sumerians and ancient incantations for resurrecting the dead. And he warns on this tape that these things shouldn't be tampered with. But in his quest for knowledge, he goes ahead anyways. And he unleashes these evil forces. And in fact, they're still there as these children are one by one terrorized by it. It comes from the woods, this dark and brooding entity, and surrounds the cabin that they're in, and one by one it possesses them and their eyes go white, and they're jerked about like marionettes, and they're forced against one another. And it's a love story. No, it's not a love story, but it's a lot of fun. I don't want to give away the shock ending.
Hello everyone, today I'm going to be speaking about the Evil Dead franchise. Director Sam Raimi has a very unique imagination. Raimi and his childhood friend, Bruce Campbell, who is also the star of Evil Dead, used to create short comedy films together. Later in his life, he met others who were just as enthusiastic as him, like Robert Tappert and Scott Spiegel. Raimi explained that while showing some college students one of his comedic short films, during the film the audience jumped and it inspired a new idea for him.
Also, in one of the Super 8 comedies that I had made, we had a point where there was a scare, what you were talking about, a shock where someone jumps out and grabs someone. And during the comedy, the audience really jumped. And I thought, boy, this is great. This is kind of a new thrill. So I started writing horror stories as opposed to comedies. Most of the time, we would watch films, and they didn't deliver enough. That's what we felt. So we wanted to make one that would really knock them with a punch.
Why not combine comedy and horror? Raimi wanted to create a horror movie that was unique, but he didn't have the money to fund it. So before Evil Dead, there was Within the Woods, a $1,600 budget horror film that was only around 32 minutes long. Raimi created it in 1978 when he was just 20 years old. Through the film, he was able to gather some of the money needed to cover production costs by screening the short film for audiences. The filming began at a cabin in Morristown, Tennessee. It's interesting why Evil Dead had so many fans even though it had a very low budget. It's goofy and unrealistic. I feel that is the reason why so many people, including myself, enjoy the movies so much. Because they are very fun, scary, and shouldn't be taken seriously. From all the makeup to the interesting camera effects, the movies are overall very unique. Bruce Campbell himself has a lot of charisma and is a very fun guy to watch throw himself around. Personally, my favorite is Evil Dead 2. Ash gets even sillier, his hand tries to kill him, he gets a chainsaw hand, and he has very memorable lines.
Groovy.
Evil Dead 2 is somewhat like a remake to the first movie. Ash takes his girlfriend Linda to the cabin, and as usual for him, everything goes wrong. The most enjoyable part of the Evil Dead trilogy is the camera shots. Raimi's way of recording was incredible. He was described as being very deliberate and set on what he wanted to do. I can't make this video and not talk about Army of Darkness.
Where'd you go?
The movie where Ash gets sent to the Middle Ages and has to battle the undead to retrieve the Necronomicon Ex Mortis. Army of Darkness is very different from the other movies. It's set in a whole nother time and location. Overall, all 3 movies display complete chaos, gore, and Ash never catching a break.